I am not Joy Taylor. Joy Taylor, as tough as she is fighting a stomach bug this morning, and for now, the stomach bug is winning. Get well soon, Joy Taylor.
Now, I know what you're really doing. You went to the doctor to get that hate out your heart. Hope you're feeling better soon, though, Joy. How you doing today, Skip?
How are you, Mr. Sharp? I'm Skip Bayless, as most people know, and everybody knows the Hall of Famer Shannon Sharp, the biggest self-promoter in the history of sports. How are you?
I'm number 2 behind Tom Brady now. But that's not...
You know what? Touche. You might have me on that. So the show must go on because last night, Mr. Sharp, turned into one of the wildest nights in recent sports memory. Because not only did we have, obviously, Kevin Love broken hand, we had James Harden broken record with the first ever 60-point triple-double. But the biggest bombshell of the night was dropped reportedly in Washington. The Washington Redskins have traded Kendall Fuller, reportedly, and a third-round pick for Alex Smith? Wow. And in Kansas City, that means that Andy Reid is now going all in on Patrick Mahomes. And obviously, Andy traded all the way from 27 up to 10 to take young Patrick Mahomes. We had him on the show here on Undisputed last year ahead of the draft. Great kid. We'll see. He's under huge expectations and fire now. But double wow. And so we got 2 questions to answer. The first question is, was it a good move for the Redskins? And in a moment, we'll get to best fit for Kirk Cousins. But what do you think about the Redskins deal?
I don't think it's a great move or even a good move for Washington because I believe all you've done, Skip, is that you're on the market for a new car, and all you did was get an older version of the car that you had. It's hard for me to believe at the best, at the absolute best, all Washington did was a lateral move. It's hard for me to believe that Alex Smith is better than Kirk Cousins. What we've seen from Alex Smith throughout his career, when he has a sound running game and he's not the dependent guy that you don't need him to drop back and throw the ball, a lot of times he can play well. You look at him this year. When Kareem Hunt rushed for 90 or more yards, he was 7-0. When that didn't happen, he was 2-6. We saw they get up to this great start because Kareem Hunt was having a historic pace as far as rushing and receiving the football. He dipped in his production dip during the middle of the season. They nosedive. He picked back up. They picked back up. Kareem Hunt ended up leading the NFL in rushing. What we saw with Alex Smith in San Francisco, Skip, when Frank Gore was running the football, they were a very good team. Alex Smith played well.
You say that about every quarterback.
Aaron Rodgers didn't need it. Tom Brady doesn't have it. Drew Brees doesn't have it. Skip, but this is what I don't understand with this move, though. You're saying the 29-year-old, you could have had Alex Smith, Skip, for about $60-65 million. 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Now, this would have been a bargain deal because you just gave Alex Smith. They were going to release Alex Smith. There's no way. They saved $17 million. And you only bidding against yourself because everybody knows they're gonna release him. You don't move up 17 spots to take a guy at that position and then have him sit for 2 years. He played well. You saw enough the last game of the season in Denver. You're like, you know what? Patrick Mahomes is ready to play. Skip, I don't like this move. I don't know what Kirk Cousins did to Daniel Snyder or Bruce Allen, but this doesn't make sense to me. You wouldn't give Kirk Cousins a $65 million guarantee, $100 million, basically $20 million a year on a 5-year deal. But you just gave Alex Smith, who would turn 34 in about 5 or 6 months, 71 guaranteed? Skip, this makes no sense to me. But it's Washington. It explains a lot.
They've had their problems picking quarterbacks in the past. They had their problem with Donovan McNabb. That did not work out. They traded the sun and the moon to trade up for RG3, and it really worked out for 1 year, and then it didn't work out as an all-time collapse bust after that.
Correct.
I'm going to speak first to you, Mr. Sharp, as a longtime Cowboy fan, a lifelong Cowboy fan. I fear Alex Smith much more than I fear Kirk Cousins, or as his GM called him, Kurt Cousins. The reason I fear Alex Smith is he's a much better Kirk Cousins, and he has rounded into an all-around quarterback later in his life. The longer he's played, the better he's gotten. And I got to tell you, these last 2 years, albeit under Andy Reid's tutelage and guidance and play calling, he made the Pro Bowl 2 straight years. Kirk Cousins made any Pro Bowls? No. Huh?
I think he made a
No,
couple.
but,
He made a few.
okay, but again, is he that guy? Is he a franchise face of the franchise quarterback? And again, Alex Smith has a stigma on him, but the more I look, the better it gets at Alex Smith, because this year he set career highs in passing yards, touchdowns, yards per attempt, and here's the key. He led the National Football League with 9 50-plus yard completions. That's extraordinary, because the guy you've called check down Alex is bombs away Alex now.
Yeah, but he's throwing the ball to Tyreek Hill for 5 yards, and Tyreek Hill's racing 80
Sometimes,
yards.
and sometimes they're bombs.
And then Travis Kelce.
Okay, but Travis Kelce, and by the way, if Travis Kelce hadn't got hurt in the second quarter of the playoff game in Kansas City against Tennessee, I'm pretty sure Alex Smith would have gotten to go back to the scene of his quote-unquote crime on opening Thursday night.
Yes.
Did he not throw a party on Tom Brady up there?
He did.
And he was the best player on the field that night.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah,
Kareem
he
Hunt was.
Oh,
Remember what
come on.
Kareem Hunt did?
Yeah, but did you remember what Alex Smith did? You remember some of those deep throws?
Yeah, he threw the ball. Ooh. Remember Kareem Hunt runs that seam route? Because Todd Gurley sat here yesterday and said, hey, I saw Kareem Hunt, and he told the coach, you need to put that route in for me.
Okay, I got you. I mean, he had some new toys, some new weapons. But if I look back at his 5 seasons in Kansas City, he has the 3rd best touchdown to interception ratio in football, next to just below Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. Mm-hmm. He's 102 touchdown passes to 33 interceptions under Andy Reid. That'll get it done. That's pretty good. That means also that he had the 3rd most wins over the last 5 seasons to Tom Brady and Russell Wilson.
Right.
Okay, that'll get it done. And if I look at his starting record, and again, he was the first pick in the draft, and you kept looking for more, and there was less.
Right.
But his starting record, Alex Smith in National Football League, is 88, 62, and 1. Kirk Cousins is 26, 30, and 1. So he's 4 games under 500, and the other guy's 26 games over 500. Well, what's not to like? I'm not saying to love about it, but what's not to like? I mean, you need to respect this man more than he gets.
I think the thing is, for me, Skip, is that are you telling me that Washington has surrounded Kirk Cousins with the same amount of talent that what he had in San Francisco and what he had in Kansas City? No, it has not. We knew this year. Jordan Reed, his best receiver, been hurt the whole year, and that's pretty much been the last 3 or 4 years for Jordan Reed. He's a phenomenal. He's a Pro Bowl, all-pro talent at that position, but he's nicked. We saw Kirk Cousins take the Washington team to Seattle without 4 starting offensive linemen and 2 receivers and win a game. He's never had a running game, 20th, 21st, 28th. That's what his running game is. Kareem Hunt, they're a top 5 running team. When he has a top,
but they were winning a lot of games before Kareem Hunt got there.
Yeah, but winning a lot of games doing nothing. Think about it, Skip. What Alex Smith, whose fortune has he changed? No one, Skip.
Okay.
It's hard for me to believe that he's an upgrade over Kirk Cousins. I just don't see it.
So, to me, I've always said about Alex Smith, he's an underappreciated underachiever because he was the first overall pick. You keep saying, oh, well, show me something. Show me big. Show me Aaron Rodgers-esque. It was Aaron Rodgers' draft where Aaron went down at
the 22nd.
Yeah, 24th or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and Alex goes 1, and Jim Harbaugh replaced Alex Smith in midstream and midseason with Colin Kaepernick, and Super Bowl happened.
Right.
So, again, I think he's achieved more than you give him credit for. But I've said this from the start about Kirk Cousins, and I will stick by this, and you will learn to eat these words at some point. Mm-hmm. Kirk Cousins is an underconfident overachiever who was drafted in the 4th round and is never quite sure of himself. And as a fandom, you can't be sure of him because he will take you to the threshold and he will leave you at the altar. When you just think you can trust him, you can't trust him. And to me, his signature play of his time in Washington was the went to church play. It's last year against the Cowboys in Washington, and they're up 23-20, Redskins are, driving, and he's throwing into his end zone, and he throws to Barry Church of the Dallas Cowboys. And Dak takes it the other way, 80 yards, and the Cowboys win 27-23. You have to close that deal. So guess what? Kirk Cousins, against some not very good Cowboy teams, but overall, he winds up 1-6 against Dallas. That includes 4 home losses to the arch rival Dallas Cowboys. And you're telling me that somebody's going to pay him whatever it is, $35 million to be their franchise savior?
He's going to get 120, 130 million, about 85, 90 million plus $1 million because he's free. But here's the thing, Skip. Now, we've seen Alex Smith in 2 locations. And we've seen two head coaches say, you know what? In order to get to where we need to be without Alex Smith. We saw it in San Francisco because Jim Harbaugh made the switch to Colin Kaepernick. Now, we just saw Andy Reid trade up 17 spots and basically say, in order for us to get to where we need to go, Alex Smith is not the guy.
He thinks there's a higher ceiling with the Patrick Mahomes.
Okay, that's twice now. How many times do you need to see this, Skip?
Okay, how many times do you need to see Kirk Cousins? What have you seen? What do you love? 26-30.
I want them to give him. So are you telling me that Washington offensive talent is as good as Kansas City's? Is that what you're telling me?
No, not quite. But they had some players.
Now, if they would have stayed healthy, Jordan Reed can play.
Yeah.
But what Washington did, they kept betting against themselves. They kept betting that Kirk Cousins was going to fail, and so you have to give him $20 million. You have to give him $24 million, and that's against your cap. And
but
so
last spring they offered him 53 guaranteed for the next 2 years, and he rejected it.
And they just gave Alex Smith 71.
All right.
So he was right to reject it.
Okay, is Alex Smith Tom Brady? Obviously he's not. Is he Aaron Rodgers? No, he's not. And you could throw in Ben Roethlisberger and Drew Brees, but there's a second echelon of pretty good quarterbacks, and Alex Smith is in that. And then there's a third echelon of never quite trust, and that's
Alex Smith.
No,
because he's in that next group. Because you got
he's not going to throw interceptions.
So he's not in the group with Russell Wilson. He's not in there with Cam. He's not in there with Carson Wentz. He's not in that group. Skip, you got to come on down. Is he Matthew Stafford? No, you got to come on down, Skip.
So I'm reading on ESPN.com. John Keim, who does an excellent job of covering the Redskins, but he's writing his piece, his analysis of this deal, as if, my goodness, I'm paraphrasing, but this is the thrust. The Redskins had to give up too much to get Alex Smith. So Kendall Fuller is the only player involved here in a third rounder, reportedly.
Yes.
Kendall Fuller, I don't know how many Redskin games I watched last year, at least 10 full Redskin games. I go off eye test. What do I always tell you about watching games? Does so-and-so leap off the screen where I say, whew, boy, that Kendall Fuller's a player. I know he's a nice player.
Right.
Third round pick, Virginia Tech. I get that. He's got two brothers playing from Chicago and New Orleans. Okay, I get that. Good football family. Did he ever leap off the screen where you said, that Kendall Fuller, he's turned into one of the best lockdown corners in the league?
Well, he's one of the top slot corners, and now you're going to get an opportunity to pair him with Peters.
Is he a game changer? Is he a difference maker? Look, quarterbacks, as we always talk about, everybody's looking for them. Now everybody's trying to decide, is it Baker Mayfield? Is it Darnold? Is it Josh Allen? Is it Josh Rosen? You know, like you're trying to, which one is which? And you know they're going to swing and miss on probably 3 out of those 4 kids.
Yeah, here's the thing. Washington was betting against them. They're bidding against themselves. Here's a guy. Alex Smith is not going to be on the Chiefs roster. 17 million. So let me get this right.
Well, you don't know that for a fact.
You get a third rounder and a player.
Okay,
Alex Smith.
But that's a steal. Seriously, that is a steal for a quarterback to give up a slot corner and a third-round pick. And by the way, you're going to get back a third-round pick in compensation for Kirk Cousins.
In 2019.
So it's kind of a wash, but kind of a wash. And again, Kendall Fuller, it's a quarterback. Cornerback for quarterback.
Hold on,
I'll
Skip.
do that. I'll do it any day.
But here's the thing. Look at his numbers compared to Cousins. Cousins back-to-back, three straight 4,000-yard seasons, 30 touchdowns. You keep talking about he had a career high in 23 touchdowns. What did he throw for? 26 and 5, I think. Kirk Cousins has been over those numbers twice.
All I know is he went 1-6 against my team, and I never feared him, and I've never wavered in my opinion to you on this show. I don't like him, don't trust him, and I'm devastated this morning that they didn't sign him for 5. What did I keep telling you? I need 5 more years of Kirk Cousins. I need 10 more games against Kirk Cousins. God help him if he stays healthy that long.
But you're talking about Alex, check down Alex, like he's about to change the force.
He's bombs away, Alex. He's a different guy now. And by the way, one guy is really mobile and can just gash you with his legs, and the other guy is not mobile and can be kind of a scarecrow falling apart in the pocket in Kirk Cousins.
Well,
you love that?
Drew Brees is not mobile. Tom Brady is not mobile. You don't need to be mobile. Like Tom Brady says, he needs to be pliability. He needs to be flexible. Tom Brady ain't ready.
You know what? Alex Smith reminds me a little bit of Tom Brady and how he keeps himself fit. If he does pliability and Pilates and all that.
Most quarterbacks are fit.
He's going on 34. I think he's just entered his prime. And he ran for 6 yards a carry last year. He's dangerous. He can run like he's underrated dangerous.
He did lose at home up 18 to Marcus Mariota. That happened on his watch, Skip
He
Bayless.
did lose his best receiver in Travis Kelce.
But if you're telling me check down Alex is that guy, he's got delivered Kansas City from evil.
I'm just telling you, he is better than Kirk Cousins.
I disagree because you're up 18. Skip, do you forget what happened in Indy when they had the 20-plus point lead? Do you forget that? That happened on his watch.
It did, but they were decimated by injuries that day on both sides. They lost every running back. They lost both edge rushers on defense. Do you remember that?
If he's that guy, he got to bring us home. I gave you a 100-yard lead in a 200-yard race. You got to limp it home.
So what just happened in Kansas City is that Andy Reid's got a big ego, and he just put it on the table for all to see, and he said, this kid from Texas Tech, I know he's a rambling gambler because he is the flip side of Alex Smith.
Yes.
Maybe his upside is a little greater.
He's the flip side of anything Andy's ever had.
That's correct. So Andy Reid,
Brett Favre.
Correct. Yeah, there's some Brett Favre going on. But again, Andy Reid likes to be able to control, as in Alex is kind of his extension on the field.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes is an extension of nobody but Patrick Mahomes. He's a big arm plunger who will try anything at any time. He can make magic, or he can make you sit back and say, what are you thinking?
So you're looking at like Andy saying, okay, I believe in this guy. I'm looking at Andy saying, Alex Smith is taking as far as we can go. This is as far as we can go.
But you better hide your eyes in Kansas City because interceptions will get thrown. Maybe a bunch of touchdown passes will get thrown. I'm going to root for this kid because he's a great kid. But it's going to be hard for me to root for Kirk Cousins, especially if he winds up with your Broncos, which I think is a distinct possibility. So you tell me, best fit is?
Best fit for me, I think, was Jacksonville.
Really?
Because they get Allen Robinson back. They can run the football.
Yep.
They have Hearns.
Yep.
Then the second best pick for me, Skip, Arizona.
It's a good one.
Arizona.
Now, why aren't you going Denver?
Denver, what you don't know, Emmanuel Sanders, it looks like they're going to move him. They got to pick up the option on DT, offensive line.
Demaryius Thomas.
Yeah, Demaryius Thomas.
The harder I look at Denver, and now it sounds like the secondary is starting to be broken up, right? Talib's going to be on the block, right? Mm-hmm. It almost feels like the window has closed on the Broncos. It's close.
Well, here's the thing. They're going to have to get a veteran quarterback because I do not believe with the way this team is constructed, Skip, that you're going to come in with a first-year guy and all of a sudden say, you know what, we're going to be playoff contenders. Everything has to go well. They have to go get someone that's a proven commodity to get them back because it's not good enough to win the division, Skip. They've done that.
Listen,
it's about
Kirk Cousins, I have observed closely over the years, does not want great expectations heaped on his shoulder pads. And if he goes to Denver, it's John Elway and Peyton Manning's ghost that you got to live up to, right?
You make $100 million. Oh, you got expectations whether you want them or
whether
not.
you like it or not. But again, I like your Jacksonville idea, although they have said publicly they're still committed to go forward with Blake Bortles.
Is that why they took a knee with 55 seconds on the 25-yard line with 2 timeouts?
He just had wrist surgery on his right wrist. I didn't even know it was bothering him that much. But he still had a pretty good year.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to be surprised if they do stick with him. The Vikings situation is interesting because they have 3 quarterbacks and they have none right now.
Correct.
So that's a possibility. But that defense got torched by Nick Foles, 38-7. I like Arizona as a possibility. I'm not going to rule out for Kirk Cousins the Browns because to me, his underconfident overachiever mentality fits with the Browns, where if they would give him that whatever that money is,
they have the
they've
ability
got the money.
Yes.
I could see him saying, I'm going to commit to grow with the Browns. Then some of the pressure would be off.
Well, if you want to win right now, if Jimmy Haslam says, look here, you need to win, well, they need to go get a veteran quarterback. You're not going to win right now with that team with a rookie quarterback, Josh Allen, Darnold, whomever the quarterback you may choose in the first round. I would go get Kirk. I would get a veteran quarterback. Seems to be Kirk's going to be one of the only ones on the market, especially one that that's been playoff experience, that's been a starter in this league. So for me, Kirk Cousins would look good, would work well for Cleveland, but he's not going to have to wait very long to get that big payday.
By the way, we have 2 producers in our control room right now who I think are sitting back saying, what about the Jets? So, Shannon, what about the Jets?
Well, that's a very good possibility.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the question is, does he take a little less money and go to the best fit, or does he take max money and go and says, I just want the money and I can make it work? Because I believe Jacksonville and a few of these other teams might be better options than some of the teams that might offer him the most money. But throwing the ball to Josh Gordon wouldn't be a bad idea.
No. You know what? My gut feeling is he'll wind up with the Browns.
I got a feeling.
Big money, lower expectations. Josh Gordon. Again, Hugh Jackson's a great quarterback coach. He's a great guy to be around.
Yes, Hugh knows some offense, and it's time. 1-31 is not going to get it done.
Yep.
I don't believe Hugh can have a similar type year. He's going to probably have to win 7-8 games in order to keep this job, and that's not asking a bit much. You've had 2 years. They've cleaned out Sashi Brown and whomever that was making all these picks, letting these quarterbacks get away because you could have had Carson Wentz, you could have had Deshaun Watson.
Yep.
You let those guys go.
You
Okay,
did.
fine. But now it's time for you to step to the podium and say, you know what, guys, there's an expectation here. 5-11 is not going to get it done. 4-12. We need to be 500 in order to show some improvement to where we need to be and that show my owner that we're heading in the right direction.
So, since I am the moderator of this show today, get well soon, Joy Taylor. I just won the first debate, the equivalent of 50-0 over the Hall of Famer Shannon Sharp.
Well, I'm Tom
Case
Brady.
closed.
I'm Tom Brady. Watch I come back and beat you 53-50 in overtime.
Speaking of Tom Brady, next up on Undisputed, Tom Brady is tempting fate in episode 3 of Tom versus Time. And we talk about Shannon Sharp's LeBron team. How much trouble is it in? Stay tuned.
A heap of trouble.